Hello everyone and welcome to BrickCats. My channel is for anyone who enjoys custom LEGO creations, likes saving money, and or those looking to get into custom building. If you're a fan of my channel or are interested in supporting what I do, please consider liking this review, subscribing, or leaving a comment. Each like, subscription, and comment helps others find my channel, and I greatly appreciate your support. Today I'm reviewing the second version of the Droid Trifighter designed by Gremder. Without any substitutions, I was getting 5 stores and $98 without shipping and tax, or about $140 with shipping and tax. In my reviews, I offer my opinions on aesthetics and model features, parts issues you might want to look out for, the build experience, the model's integrity, and I close out with my overall impression and pricing information in the conclusion. If you're watching this review, I assume you bought the instructions or are interested in buying them. I also assume a basic level of familiarity with Brickling's ordering system and LEGO nomenclature. I only use genuine LEGO bricks and I always purchase the instructions. I create these reviews for my own personal enjoyment and in the hopes that my advice will make your experience more enjoyable and or less expensive. Gremder's Trifighter is 7 inches front to back, about 4.5 inches wide, and is maybe a hair over 4 inches tall off the stand and about 5.25 inches on the stand. I reviewed Gremder's original version of this model all the way back in May of 2023. It was a great model back then, and version 2 improves on it in nearly every way in my opinion. The fins retain much of the same structure as version 1, with mixel joints connecting the 5 sections and clip and bar connections to the central part of the fighter. The dark blue, sand blue, and dark bluish gray color scheme looks great. The model does call for stickers, which I wasn't able to get in time for this review, but they aren't necessary in my opinion. My favorite part used in this model remains the bullhorns for the droid eyes on the front here. I think this is the perfect piece for this detail. The central cannon and 3 wing cannons are now all in dark bluish gray, with some optional silver features. The screwdriver is specified for these little assemblies here, and I thought I had 3, but when it came time to build it I only had 2. The 2 missiles attached to the underside are constructed simply but look good, and at the back the 3 engines surround the central cone with trans neon orange engine glow. The major change is a brick-built central section, which previously utilized the printed dome windscreen pieces. Changing this out drastically improves the strength of the model as a whole, and looks good as well. Maybe someday we'll get these round corner bricks in trans clear, which would really nail the look, but pearl dark gray is in my opinion the best solution with the existing parts inventory. Finally, the designer has modified the original to include a very nice stand that holds the fighter at a slight angle. This was one of my suggestions to the designer in my original review, and I'm very happy to see this excellent looking model getting a display stand to show it off on. The Trifighter calls for 119 elements and 612 pieces for both the fighter and the stand. The 2 slope 38 1x1 in flat silver, part 45200, were very expensive, and these slopes only came in flat silver in 3 small sets in 2014 and 2015. These 2 slopes aren't worth spending $1.25 on like I did in my opinion. They're right here at the back of the fighter, so I recommend changing these to dark bluish gray and incrementing the quantity of the dark bluish gray slopes from 7 to 9. The 3 screwdriver 3-rib handle in flat silver, part number 11402A, make up part of the fighter's nose. These tend to run between $1.50 and $3 each. I recommend removing this element and changing the quantity of the bar 2L with stop ring in dark bluish gray, part 78258 from 3 to 6. These 2 changes alone made a big difference for me, but the other expensive element is the brick round corner 3x3 without studs, part 65617 in pearl dark gray. These are running upwards of $1.50 for the quantity you need. There really aren't many great options to replace this element unfortunately. Many of the other colors that might work, such as dark blue or black, are also quite uncommon. Sand blue and light bluish gray are options, but will likely make the center section stand out a bit more than it does currently. I left these as pearl dark gray for my pricing research. Definitely pay attention to how much stores are charging for these though. For those that don't know, Brickling's algorithm is not perfect in that it doesn't always minimize your total cost. For these elements, my original results have a store charging over $2.50 for each of these. When I blocked that store from my results, my store count increased by 1, but the price per element decreased to $1.25, more than making up for the shipping cost of the extra store. As usual, I use the Brick Hunter extension to check the parts list against the Pick-a-Brick inventory. I do have an affiliate link that gives me a small percentage of the value of your purchase, so thank you in advance if you choose to use it. Pick-a-Brick orders over $35 ship for free, and if you spend more than $14 in the bestseller or standard categories, the handling fees are waived. I'll go over those results in the conclusion. Gremder's Trifighter instructions have 319 steps for the fighter and 17 steps for the stand. Each part or subassembly you add in each step is outlined in red against a white background, and this is just fine for visibility. I didn't have any trouble telling where pieces were going in a given step. Each step has you adding a reasonable number of pieces, and the build goes at a nice pace. It took me about 2 hours to finish this model without any sorting beforehand. In addition, the designer has included some helpful notes throughout the instructions letting you know the best way to make connections, or that 2 unconnected subassemblies will be joined together very soon. I only had one minor issue with the instructions, and that was the engine assemblies in steps 50 to 94. The 3 engines are all the same, so there could easily be an X3 marker here to save on some steps and facilitate parallel building. The same could be said for the 3 fins, and these are a little repetitive, but I do appreciate that the steps are all in series now instead of constantly having to return to an earlier step. This was a big issue in version 1 for me. All in all, I think it's fine to build these 3 separately as they're a bit more involved. Finally, I did run into a small issue in that in step 219, the spear tips I had weren't connecting with friction into the round brick with fin element. I had to add a 1x1 round plate with hole to make it stick. Looking back, I also had this issue back in 2023, and I'm likely using the same fin pieces. I discussed this a bit with the designer, and it seems to be a mold issue, so you might have the same situation if you get what I presume are older pieces. I think this model is appropriate for intermediate level builders and would be an easy first custom model for someone looking to get into this side of the hobby. The 3 ridge sections are all made of pixel joints, so while they can get slightly bent out of alignment, it's easy to get them back into place. The Technic pulley the eyes connect to can rotate slightly, and of course the missiles underneath can come loose or break apart. Other than that, there's really not much that can come loose or get knocked off very easily. The model is very swishable, maybe a little awkward to hold, but you can hold it by the center section or by wrapping your fingers around the rear like this. There's no creaking or anything, and you can swish this to your heart's content. The main integrity issue is actually the stand. Since the Technic axles get inserted into the axle holes, there's a lot of friction, and it's actually pretty difficult to remove from the stand. But since the stand is very stable, you can definitely get away with not inserting the Technic axles fully into the holes to make it a little bit easier to remove. Gremder's revision of what was already a very good model makes it very easy to recommend to anyone looking for a Trifighter. The build experience is smooth, and the model can be picked up and swished around as much as you want to. The included stand makes the model look even better on your shelf than the original. Again, without any substitutions, I was getting 5 stores and $98 without shipping and tax, or about $140 with shipping and tax. With my substitutions, I got 4 stores and $79 without shipping and tax, or about $113 with shipping and tax. And with Pick-a-Brick, my Pick-a-Brick total was $60. This included tax, but no shipping and handling, and I did end up padding my standard orders by about $4. My Bricklake total, I was getting 3 stores and $17 without shipping and tax, or about $39 with shipping and tax, for a total of $99. Instructions for this Trifighter cost €8, or about $9.18 in July 2026, and these are available on Rebrickable. There will be a link to where you can buy those in the description below. Thanks as always for watching my review of Gremder's Droid Trifighter. If you built the model, you have something to share that I left out, or have a question about something I didn't cover, please leave your thoughts below in the comments. I am very conscious that subscribers are earned and not deserved, so if you enjoy my content and want to see more, consider subscribing, leaving the video a like or a comment, or follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. Thank you, and I hope to see you back next time.